And away we go, class. This is GO1, test GO1. It is September 2023, and I was so dumb, I didn't even know they released this test. I thought they only released December's, June, and April. So here we go. This is the middle median. It's the average of the two. So you add up 24 and 38 and divide by 2, and that will give you 31, which is C. Which is the best price for 6 shirts? And the answer is going to be H by a little bit. Number 1, if they're $7 each, you spend 42. Number 2 deal is you buy 2, and therefore you'd have to multiply $14.99 by 3, and you would get something a little higher, like 44-ish. So too high. 3 is the correct answer because you're only going to do $20.95 twice, because you bought 6 shirts, which is 3 twice, and that's going to be the best deal by a hair, $41.90, and 4 is just a little bit more, and then 5 looks like it's it, because you get 1 free, so you only have to do it twice, but that's going to end up being 2 times 21. So that was a mouthful. Number 3 is simply 4 4/5 times the, so you go alpha y equals 3, and alpha y equals 2 to get that mixed number if you're a little afraid, and that's 4 4/5 out times what? It was $1.50 a pound, so you would times it by 1.50 and get the answer $7.20. Okay, or you could multiply 4.8 times 1.5 just as well. Okay, now these you need to find the mean, that's the average. Average is total. So it's 13, this is 6, this is 3, and that last one looks like it's about 1. So the 4 recorded heights would have a sum of 23 divided by 4. 23 divided by 4 is J. We would get 575. Now we have to do the perimeter of the rectangle, which is 2,000 plus 3,500, So it would be 2,000 plus 3,500, and what does it say? He drove around it 15 times. So I would times it by 15. Now there are 5,280 feet in a mile, so if we take that and divide by 5,280, we should get the right answer, which looks like it's close to 16 miles, and that answer would be, oh wait, I forgot something, So I think I forgot to double, this is a common mistake, is I forgot to double the 5,500. So the 5,500 is only half the perimeter, so I forgot to double that, times that by 15, and that would be how many feet you travel divided by 5,280, and that gives you 31 miles. My fault, sorry, but it does happen. So what did we spend here? We bought it for $5.50, and then we want to buy 75 cents per CD. So that's how much we're going to spend, and we can't pass $12.80, so we've got to be less than or equal to $12.80. That's here. This is a classic STO. Y would be negative 11 over 16. So I go negative 11 over 16 STO alpha Y. Calculator now thinks what? And then I would go X is 18 over 32. So 18 over 32 STO X. And what am I calculating, gang? Y minus X. Great use of the calculator here to avoid the fractions. Speaking of fractions, mathafraca. So it would be 5/4 negative. Huh? Did I get negative for that answer? Yes. So it would be negative 5/4, answer D. This one's a little weird. You got 30 questions, and she's scoring so far 24 correct, 3 incorrect. So what's the highest she can get? Well, there are 3 more questions. So if she gets all 3 right, she gets 27 divided by 30. So what does that mean? Of course, 27 divided by 30 is the classic value of 90% or 0.9. Huh? So the answer is J. 1/6 is what Chris can do. 1/8 is what Sandy can do. Let's work them together. So it would be 1/6 plus 1/8. I would normally hit mathafraca, but they said they worked like that for 2 days, huh? So I'll times it by 2 before I mathfrac. Mathfrac gives me 7/12 for the final answer, D. The slope of this line, remember it's falling, so it's got to be negative. And 5 would be a rise of 5 for a run of 1. It would be steeper, so it's got to be G. 11, if there ever was a calculator use, you would go math, number, abs, and I know what we're multiplying inside of there. Negative 2 times negative 3 times negative 2, huh? I did it without the parentheses. And then we're minusing what? We're minusing negative 3 minus 12. So another math, number, abs, negative 3 minus 12 should score for us. The answer is negative 3A. Foil. So we would multiply each by each. The numbers are 1, 2, 3, and negative 2. So 1, 2, 3, and negative 2. Is this the first program of the day? I believe so, foil. So you would use 1, 3, 3, and negative 2 for the last one. And the foil is sideways. 3x squared plus 7x minus 6. And what did I do wrong? It should have been 1, 2. I did 1, 3. Anyway, I'm a bundle of errors today at the end of this long day. The answer should be K. You could have done that by hand, of course. Most people probably would. 3k squared minus 2km plus 6km minus 4m squared. So there you go with that one. This is a classic. Glad to see it back. You need to do the area by slicing. So this is 5 by 4, 20. Careful, this is 15 by 5 because you took out 5 for 75. So the area of the rectangular region is 95. Now careful, it costs $2 per square foot to paint. So you multiply by 995 times 2. This is MXB, but they don't really put it in that form. You solve for Y, so you kick the 2x over. Most people put it first, and then you divide by 3. And that choice is F. Hey, calculator use. Square root of -9 plus the square root of -16. For you fanatics about imaginary numbers, that would be 4i plus 3i is 7ia. Okay. This one, I use the solver if you don't like to do the work. Now, when I do the solver, watch what I do. I don't put W very often. I usually just put X because it's easier. So the left side is 4 open what? 2X plus 3. And the right side is what? 1/2 open -4x plus 9. And then I hit OK, solve. And that's the answer. If you want to math-a-fracca it, it's now the X on your calculator. And there you go, a beautiful way to cheat if you don't like solving equations, and the answer is F. This one, you have a choice of rooting it. 24 is 6 and 4, which makes 8 root 6, and 54 is 9 times 6, so you get -7 root 6. One choice is to put the whole thing in the calculator and match it up. I'm not crazy about this. It was 4 root 24 minus, was it 5 root 54. So you would go 5 square root of 54, and you would get that. And then you would have to match it up. It's negative, so they all are, and you'd have to type in all of these till you got it right. So the right answer is -7 times the square root of 6. If you're rusty on your roots, cha-ching, that might take longer than you want to spend. Classic simul here. 2 notebooks and 1 pencil package is 7. 3 notebooks and 2 pencil packages is 11. Plug that into the simult equation on my calculator program. So you go program, I go through the back door of simult, and what did it say? I forgot. 217. 217. And what's the second one? 3 to 11. So nice use of the simultaneous for my solvers. And the answer is 3 and 1, but look at what they wanted. The sum is 4. This is the diagonal of the square, which comes from the isosceles right triangle. The diagonal is the side times the square root of 2. So that would be B for number 19. 20 is a classic. I mention it in class all the time. It is the LCM of the 8 and 6. So go down. I like hitting alpha L, so I'm not doing anything. LCM, 8 and 6, but it calls for 3, so put the other number in twice, and it gives you the answer of 24. Huh? Classic slope, -1, 4, and 2, -1. -1, 4, and 2, -1. It gives you the slope and the y-intercept. The slope is -5 over 3a. Oop, I went too soon. 22, they love this. Each side of a square is 48. The rectangle is skinnier. It's 12 by what? Well, 12 times what? Gives you 48 times 48. 48 times 48 is the area of the square. And then you divide by 12, because 12 times what will give it to you? It's 192. Very popular problem. Now, if you travel 840 miles in 1 hour, well, 1 hour has 60 minutes. So I'll just divide by 60, and that's how many miles I'm going in 1 minute. Huh? But they don't want 1 minute. They want it in 30 seconds. That's half a minute. Divide by 2, and the answer is 7. This is just the definition of slope. Which of the following describes the rate of change? Rate of change is the slope. So the slope is 2.34. For every increase in 1, the cost increases by 2.34, which is the slope, 2.34 to 1. I use this as a repeat. Careful though, the question fools you. There's altos and sopranos. There are 37 more altos than sopranos. So when you add them up, it's 145, which means when you solve for x, you do 108, it's 54. So there are 54 sopranos and 91 altos, and they're looking for alto to soprano. I almost checked A, but I was too smart for them. Tangent of A. This is my program Chief, if you forgot. Chief will give you the SOHCAHTOA ratios. If you forgot them, it's simply tangent is the opposite over the adjacent. Don't you dare use the hypotenuse. The opposite is away from, and the adjacent is the one next to, but not opposite the right angle. So the answer would be G, 5 to 3. This would confuse me at first. He's building a circular pond in the square section. So there's the square section, and there's the circle. So what is the area outside, inside the square, but outside the circle is the difference, huh? So it would be 20 times 20 is the whole area minus the area of the circle, huh? Which is pi times the radius squared. But the radius is only 10. So it would be 400 minus 100 pi will give us the right answer. You could have also used my area of circle program as well. I would have put that on the key. 86 is correct. These were tough. F -10 means to plug -10 in. That's a stow, ladies and gentlemen. So -10 stow. I'm supposed to hit T, but I don't care. I just put X. And then what do? is I put negative 10x squared plus 20x plus 80. And what does that give me, sports fans? Negative 120, negative 1120 for the answer. Tricky question here is, for what values of t is this defined? All reals. I could define it 100 miles to the right and 100 miles for the left. They were suckering you. It's the values of t for which the function is defined. There ain't nothing that's going to make this undefined. This graph goes forever to the left and forever to the right. And then a little trick, we take the point 190 and we translate it 2 to the right. That makes it 390. 2 to the right means plus 2 on the x. And then flipped around the x-axis means the y becomes negative. So the answer there is just 3 minus 90. Corresponding. They didn't say they were equal A, B, C, but they said they were similar. So what do we know? AB is 10. So the corresponding one here is DE, which is what we want to find. BC is 12, but the corresponding for that one is EF. We want DF, which is 12. So we want 10 is to X as what? 15 is to 12. I'll let you cross multiply and divide. The answer is 8. Tough one. It's got a length, a width, and a height. So when I wrap this ribbon around, I do, let's do the first one. I do the width, then the length, then the width, then the length. I'm sorry. I do the height, then the length, then the height, then the length. So what do? 2 lengths plus 2 heights. When I do this ribbon, I do the width, then the height, then the width. So it's 2W plus 2H, and then I still have 6 left over for my bow. So what did I look for? H got done in twice. So it's 4H, and the answer is H. This is a chocolate candy enclosing an almond in a mold. The dimensions are, well, that's a volume of what? The volume of the chocolate cube is 4 times 3 times 2. You could have used the program box to get 24. And then the volume of the almond inside the box is just 2. So the maximum number of chocolate would be 24 minus 2, which is 22. This one I created an equation. The gas tank is X, so 3/8 full. I added 6, and now it's 3/4 full. So 3/8 of X plus 6 is 3/4 of X. Solve for X. You could use equation solver. I multiply everybody by 8 to get this. So 3X is 48, X is 16. And therefore, if X is 16, if we're 3/4 full, you would do 3/4 of that, which is 12. So we need 12 gallons of gas at $1.50 a gallon. So it would be $18. You can play with your calculator if you need it. A certain triangle has an area of 12. The altitude is 2/3 the base. That means I'll make the base x and the altitude 2/3 x. Well, what's the formula? 1/2 the altitude times the base is 12. So the 2's cancel. The 3 comes over here, and I get x squared is 36. That makes x 6. You could have plugged and chugged and reverse field. You could have made x 6 and then said, all right, the altitude is 2/3 of 6, and check that to see if it gave you 12. That would be area of a triangle backwards. You know the answer is 12, and you plug in these numbers till you get the combination of 12. Everybody's positive on the center, and it's tangent to the x-axis. The area is pi r squared is 64 pi, so doesn't r have to be 8? So the center somewhere out here, and it's tangent to both axes. So the point of tangency has to be 0, 8. This is that expected value they keep asking. The expected value is the probability times the value. So 1/3 of 12 plus 2/3 of k equals 20. You can solve that by solver if you wish, but I'd rather do it the hand way. 1/3 of 12 minus 4 is 16. And then we would go 16 times the reciprocal and get the answer 24. Hey, let's make it make sense, I like to say. 24, and that would be the expected value of x would be somewhere in the middle of the two numbers, 12 and 24, but also it would have to be closer to 24 because 2/3 of the numbers are 24. This one's tricky. Absolute value is always positive, so put a negative out there, and it's always negative. So it's always true that this is negative, except when we're 0. I didn't make it through all of this. They wanted g of f of 5x. So what does that mean? Plug 5x into that. So you would go 2 times 5x for x, minus 1, putting 5x in the place of x, and get 10x minus 1. Dig it? And then you would plug 10x minus 1 into g. This is going to be a gigantic FOIL, but honestly, when I go 10x squared, that's going to be 100. Times 3 is going to be 300, so I stopped my work right there. The investment doubles every 7 years, so it's 24,000 after 21 years. Well, let's back it up. After 14 years, it had to be half. After 7 years, it has to be half. Get it? And after 0 years, it would have to be half. So at 3,000, it doubled to 6,000, then it doubled to there, then it doubled to there. So what was it after 8 years? Well, there's 7 years, there's 8, you tell me. It's got to be between 6 and 12, and closer to the 6, because it just got to 6 after 7 years. Oh, this one was a pain. 2-digit numbers for which the units digit is larger. The units digit is the digit that's second. The tens digit comes first. So let's start thinking of 2-digit numbers, 11, 12, 13. But no way is the sum going to be 12, because even at 19, we're only up to 10. So 21, 22, same thing. We get to 29, and the digit sum is only 11. So let's go 31. Oh, that'll work. 39, the sum is 12. 48, the sum is 12. 51, it would be 57, the sum is 12. And then once you get to 61, it would be 66. And what's wrong with that? It's not greater anymore. And now after that, it's less than. So it only happens with 3 numbers. B, that was hard. I like doing that when I attacked it well. But honestly, after doing it that quickly, I checked the answer. I was nervous. What's not, so you plug it in. If I plug in -2, what do I get? I get -4, absolute value is 4 minus 4 is 0, yes. And here's your note. If I plug in -1, I would get -2, absolute value of -2 is 2 minus 4. G is the one that is wrong. Now, this one caused me a little calamity at first. They're strung out on the thing here, and it says PR is 12. Now, I don't know. Is Q closer? Is it in the middle? I don't know. And QT, we've got overlap, huh? So here's where it gets interesting. QR is the same as ST, boom, boom. And PQ is the same as RS. What does that tell me? That tells me that this here is 12. And it tells me that this part is 12, huh? So then I know that the answer, what it is, because this is 3, the overlap. So the whole count would be 12 and 15 minus 3. Or, as I just realized, is just 12 and 12 is 24. Multiply. The probability that both events occur is 0.4 times 0.2. Take your calculator and check it. 0.4 times 0.2 will give you 0.08. That's an 8% chance of happening. I use distance here. What is the distance from -1, 1 to 7, 7? Ha ha. It's perfect. It's 10. So the distance is 10, y'all. But that means that A to C has to be 1/4 of 10, which is 2.25. So I pick a point along the way until I get 2.25. And I tried the first one and failed. That would be -1, 1 to 1/2, 5/2. And that should be 2.25. When it's not, I know to check the next one. So hit continue, -1, 1. And this is the right answer, y'all. It's 1, 2.5. Or 5/2. And I'm hoping for the 2.5. Bada bing, it's 1/4 of 10. Isn't that cool? So the answer is B. This is a classic. You factor out the A, and sine squared plus cosine squared is always 1. So B over A is equal to 1. My pre-calculus students will laugh. I did Heron's formula because we're on that in math right now, but it's way better to drop the altitude. And an isosceles, it cuts this in half. 3 squared plus what squared is 5 squared. You could have also used my program leg to get it. But the leg has to be 4. It's the famous 3, 4, 5. So the area of the triangle, you could also use the area of the triangle formula, is 1/2 4 times 6, which is 12. I actually use Heron's formula, and my my pre-calculus class is right there right now. Okay, this is an old trick. When you multiply matrices, the inners have to agree. They do, and the outers is the answer. So the answer would have to be this. Now, if you want, you could have taken a 3 by 2 matrix. That's a 3 by 2 matrix. Ta-da! Put in any numbers you wish and times it by a 2 by 3 matrix. So you have to go up and change it to 2 by 3, and the numbers, the numbers are totally irrelevant because all we're looking for is a form, and the form of the answer is 3 by 3. Okay? Classic law of cosines, and they give it to you. The 2 sides of a triangle are 180, and the angle is 60. So who can put this into their calculators? It's 100 squared plus 80 squared minus 2 times 80 times 100 times the cosine of 60. So let's do that. It's all squared, so it's under the square root. So you would do 100 squared plus 80 squared minus 2 times 100 times 80 times the cosine of 60, and it gives you an answer close to 92. Voila! Oh, these are hard. The negative linear correlation, that means it's going down in a linear fashion. Well, it's not the 9th graders. They went up, then down. It's the 10th graders, G. They went down, down, down. It's not the 11th graders. They went up, down, down, a little varied. That's how you do that. So what is the average attendance per day? So what do? It's this one. So for 20 days, we're in 9th grade. So there were 267 and 295. You're going to add up the total. 18 days in November, 310. You're going to add up the total and divide by the number of days. So the number of days is right here. I'm sorry, it's D. So it's, I had the numerator right, but the number of days is 40 for those months plus 33. So the whole point is you're trying to match it up to which one says the average, which is add up all the totals and divide by the number of days. Can't be these two. That doesn't have the right number of days. Can't be that one. Actually, The only one with the right divider is D, now that I'm looking at it better. What is more for the previous year? The previous year has lower everything, but look at the range, the variant. The variant is huge compared to this, so it's the difference in the lowest to the highest. These are clearly smaller. This one got me for a minute because I wanted to use the maximum X, and then I realized, no, it's got to be compatible. So what I tried was all the corners. So the maximum is this. It's -2 minus 5. I tried the other corners, and that wasn't as good. This was close for X minus Y. This was no good. So it was this one, which is absolute value is 7. This one drove me bat crazy. This number is always, these are 1 over 1, 1 over 2, 1 over 3, 1 over 4, 1 over 5, 106. And then the middle number is the sum below it. So the way you got to read it is 1 over 20 plus question mark has to give you 1 over 12. Huh? So the two fractions on either side beneath it, it's the sum of those. So the solution is 1/12 minus 1/20th, and I played with solver with that too on my solver for equations, but that will do it for you. It's 1 over 30. That was a reading question. You can also check each one and plug it in. So like 1 over 4 can't be it, because the sum of these two would have to be 1/12. So that's another way you could have backwards done it. This one was a pain. There are, I read the whole thing, wasting a half hour. There are 300 juniors, and here they all are, and they're looking for the ones who took math only, English only, and science only. So I took the 300 and subtracted all the numbers on the page. I'm adding on my personal calculator so as not to waste time. It's 32, 98, 41, and 21, and 18. I got 210. So there are 90 left over in these groups, and when you pick, the chance of picking one is 90 over 300. I'll do that one for you. That would be the answer, 30% chance. Huh? Let's be honest. You could log this. There is such a thing as log rules. Minus is division. So 54 divided by 2 is 27. If you know your logs, this is 3. So if you know x would be 2 to the third power 8. Okay, but I did log base. Log 354. So I did math, log base 354 minus math log base 3, 2 it was, and got the answer 3. Now 3 is not the answer. 3 is the left side. So log 2 what? You could plug these in till you got 3, or just saw that it's 2 to the third power. This one looks terrible, but the denominator over here, when you factor it, is the 2 on the left, huh? So we multiply through by this. So the first one gets multiplied by the y plus 1. The second one gets multiplied by the y minus 4. And the third one, it kills. So I got A real quick on that one. This one should not be too bad. You know the 9x squared has got to be 3 and 3, huh? And the 25's got to be what? So what's the middle term? 15 and 15 is 30. That was a nice number, 58. And then 32 students. So where's the median, y'all? The median is between the 16th and 17th rated score. So that's 0, 0, 1, 4, 9, 11, 14. So these are the bottom 14. 19 when you add this. So I passed the median. It has to be in that group 7. And then this one scratched my brain a little bit. The greatest common factor of the two numbers is 1. So A and B have nothing in common. So when I did the ratio A to B, I got A is to B as 4 is to 9. So really, they almost have to be that, because any more stretch of 4 to 9 for integers would be like 8 and 18, and they would have a common factor. So it's really 4 and 9 that you're dealing with. So 2 has to be the factor of A, and 3 has to be the factor of B. It can't not be, because B has to be 9, huh? So not is not an option for anything. The answer is F.